Welcome to MathsBites, and in particular to this quick win on fractions for Year 4. Now, this quick win has three parts, as I am really conscious of the time constraints you have. This video will give you the background to what they'll be learning so that you can support them in a way that aligns or matches with what they will do or what they have done in class. Now, you don't have to watch this video, but I do believe that it'll help you understand the activities in the next videos and what to expect your child to be able to do and what may be too much too soon. But it's up to you. Now, if you're still with me, let's get started. Fractions tend to be a scary concept, but after my 30 odd years in the classroom, I believe it comes down to just two reasons. The first reason is that, well, somebody told them it was scary, but not in so many words, in their attitudes towards fractions, which kids are quietly watching and absorbing. These memes often do the rounds on social media, which our kids hopefully don't see. They get a bit of a giggle, but they are examples of what I'm talking about. The second reason is that a deep understanding wasn't built before something new was introduced, and because new concepts are built on old ones. If the understanding isn't solid, everything feels shaky and uncertain. But it doesn't need to be this way, and your support at home is going to help enormously. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the New South Wales curriculum because that's where I've taught for the 30 plus years of my career, but the big ideas are universal. Fractions have been spoken about and investigated since kinder through the concept of length, and your child will have built their understanding of halves and quarters, moved to eighths, then thirds and fifths. By now, they will have been introduced to fractional notation, and throughout all of this, they've done lots and lots of talking about fractions, what they are and what they're not. In New South Wales, there are two big ideas that they cover. The first one is modelling equivalent fractions as lengths. Now, before now, they will have been talking about equivalent fractions, although not in these words, because they've been looking at and discussing halves, quarters, and eighths, and the opportunities to look at equivalency would have naturally occurred, but now it's made explicit, and that's what will be covered in this video. In Year 3, they looked at the total number of parts required to make a whole, and this was really important because now they'll represent fractional quantities equal to and greater than 1, which is the second big idea and will be covered in Part 3. In the Australian curriculum, they'll learn very similar concepts, but if you're somewhere in Australia or elsewhere that doesn't use either, that's okay. These activities work perfectly wherever you live because, as I said, the ideas are universal. So let's have a look at some of the aspects of fractions that you need to look out for while you support your child. Firstly, Year 3 was the first time that your child was officially introduced to the fractional notation. So if it still feels a little shaky for them, take things slowly, but the activities should help. Next, a lot of kids, particularly ones that struggle with fractions, tend to view them as two unrelated numbers. So we need to talk about them and represent them as a comparison of the part to the whole. By working out how many pieces, which are called unit fractions, are needed to recreate the whole, this highlights the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. Now, they won't necessarily need to use this language yet, but they will come across it. Rather than read the fraction as 1 over 4 or 1 out of 4, which we understand, it's important to use its name, 1/4, or one of the 4 equal parts, with the latter helping to build that mental image they need. They'll eventually reduce it to 1 out of 4 or 1 over 4 or something similar when they're ready. But while they're still building understanding, this explicit language will help. Fractions will continue to be represented by partitioning or splitting lengths before being represented in other ways, such as fractions represented by squares or circles, because this helps them measure with the parts, the fractional parts, and they can then map these to number lines, which helps when it comes to comparing fractions. It also helps them build understanding when it comes to going beyond the whole, which is something that they'll learn about at this stage of their schooling. Okay, now you've got a clear picture of what your child will be learning in Year 4 and the key ideas to keep in mind as you support them. Before I go, thank you for carving out time in your really busy life to understand fractions more deeply. Your effort matters, and I don't take it for granted. In the next video, I'll walk you through simple activities and conversation starters you can use at home to build your child's confidence. See you there.